Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today we will cover a new topic which is gluteal region. First of all, you should know what is gluteal region. See here in this diagram, this is the upper level of the iliac crest. Okay, upper level of the iliac crest. This is intergluteal cleft. Okay, because this is one gluteal region and this is another gluteal region and this is the intergluteal cleft. This is greater trochanter of the femur and this is ischial tuberosity. Okay, so the gluteal region will be divided into two regions, which are buttocks and hip region. The region from the level of the iliac crest up till the greater trochanter is the buttock region. So this is buttocks, and the prominent region over the greater trochanter of the femur is called as hip region. So from the level of the iliac crest up till the inferior gluteal fold, after which or below which the thigh will start. This part is called as buttocks, and the region which is over the greater trochanter of the femur is called as hip region. Now we will discuss the cutaneous innervation of the gluteal region. See here in this diagram, this is intergluteal cleft, this is the inferior gluteal fold. So this part is the medial part of the gluteal region and the other part is the lateral part of the gluteal region. We will divide the whole gluteal region into four quadrants. Two are medial quadrants and two are lateral quadrants. So this is upper medial quadrant, this is lower medial quadrant, this is upper lateral quadrant, and then lower lateral quadrant. So the upper medial quadrant is supplied by the posterior rami of the upper three lumbar nerves. See here, this is upper three lumbar nerves and the posterior rami of the upper three sacral nerves. So these are three sacral nerves and these are three lumbar nerves. This is upper medial quadrant. Then the upper lateral quadrant will be supplied by the lateral branches of the anterior rami of the iliohypogastric nerve, which is L1, and T12, which is the lateral branch of the 12th thoracic nerve. See here, this is the lateral branch of the 12th thoracic nerve and this is the lateral branch of the iliohypogastric nerve. Then the lower lateral quadrant will be supplied by the lateral cutaneous nerve of the thigh. See here, these are two branches of the lateral cutaneous nerve of the thigh, L2 and L3. Then the lower medial quadrant will be supplied by the posterior cutaneous nerves of the thigh, which are S1, S2 and S3, anterior rami. Now we will discuss the ligaments and the foramina of the gluteal region. There are many ligaments of the gluteal region, but two ligaments are very important. See here, this is sacrotuberous ligament. Sacrotuberous ligament, which is clear from its name, it is attached with the sacrum and the ischial tuberosity. That's why it is called as sacrotuberous ligament, that is attached to the sacrum and ischial tuberosity. The other ligament is sacrospinous ligament because it is attached with the sacrum and the ischial spine. That's why it is called as sacrospinous ligament. These function to stabilize the sacrum and prevent its rotation at the sacroiliac joint by the weight of the vertebral column. The sacrotuberous ligament, again I will repeat, the sacrotuberous ligament, which is shown in brown color, it connects the back of the sacrum to the ischial tuberosity, and the sacrospinous ligament, which is shown here in green color, it is attached to the back of the sacrum and it will connect to the spine of the ischium or the ischial spine. Now there will be two foramina. See here, this is greater sciatic foramina and there will be lesser sciatic foramen. Greater sciatic foramen and lesser sciatic foramen. The greater sciatic foramen is formed by the greater sciatic notch of the hip bone and sacrotuberous and the sacrospinous ligaments. Okay, it will provide an exit. See here, it will provide an exit from the pelvis into the gluteal region. There will be many structures which will exit the greater sciatic foramen. These structures are the piriformis muscle, okay, which is also crossing the greater sciatic foramen. Then there will be sciatic nerve, which will be below the piriformis muscle. There is posterior cutaneous nerve of the thigh, superior and inferior gluteal nerves, which are present above and below the piriformis muscle. Then there will be superior and inferior gluteal arteries and veins. There will be nerve to the obturator internus muscle and nerve to the quadratus femoris muscle. There is pudendal nerve and internal pudendal artery and vein. These are the structures which are exiting the greater sciatic foramen, and they are exiting from the pelvis and they are entering into the gluteal region. Now the lesser sciatic foramen. See here, this is lesser sciatic foramen, which is formed by the lesser sciatic notch of the hip bone and the sacrotuberous and the sacrospinous ligaments. It provides an entrance into the perineum from the gluteal region. Those structures which were exited from the pelvis to the gluteal region through the greater sciatic foramen will enter from the gluteal region into the perineum through the lesser sciatic foramen. Its presence enables the nerves and blood vessels that have left the pelvis through the greater sciatic foramen above the pelvic floor to enter the perineum below the pelvic floor. The structures which pass through the lesser sciatic foramen are tendon of the obturator internus muscle, nerve to the obturator internus, pudendal nerve, and internal pudendal artery and vein. These structures are very, very important. They will be asked from you in Viva as well as in MCQs. Now we will discuss the muscles of the gluteal region. There are many muscles of the gluteal region which are gluteus maximus muscle. See here, this is gluteus maximus muscle. Then there will be gluteus medius muscle. See here, this is gluteus medius. Then there is gluteus minimus muscle. This is gluteus minimus. Maximus because it is bigger in size. Then there is medius which will be in medium size, and minimus which is smaller one. Okay. Then there are tensor fascia lata. Okay. It is also the muscle of the lateral part. Tensor fascia lata. Then there is piriformis muscle. Can you see here? This is piriformis muscle. Piriformis muscle. Then there will be three muscles which are also called as triceps coxae. That is the triceps of the hip bone, which are obturator internus muscle. See here, there will be obturator internus muscle here. Then the superior gemellus, which is this one. This is superior gemellus and inferior gemellus muscle. Gemellus word comes from gemelli or gemenius, which means small twin. So these are twins muscle. Superior gemellus means which is superior, and inferior gemellus means which is inferior. So these two gemelli, they are present around the obturator internus muscle. So these three muscles, the obturator internus muscle, the superior gemellus and inferior gemellus, which are twins, these three muscles, they will unite to form the triceps coxae muscle. Then the last muscle will be quadratus femoris muscle, which is shown here in yellow color. Quadratus femoris muscle. That is, it is quadrilateral in shape, having four corners and four sides or four angles. So this is quadratus femoris muscle. I will repeat. First of all, there will be gluteus maximus, then gluteus medius, then gluteus minimus, then piriformis muscle, then superior gemellus, obturator internus, inferior gemellus, and quadratus femoris muscle along with the tensor fascia lata. These are the muscles of the gluteal region. See here in this diagram also, this one, this is gluteus medius muscle. They have cut the gluteus maximus, which was a big muscle which was forming the main prominence of the hip region. This was gluteus maximus. Then there will be gluteus medius. See here, the gluteus maximus is the most superficial muscle, and then there will be gluteus medius and minimus, which are also superficial muscles. But the deep muscles are piriformis muscle. See here, this is piriformis muscle. Then there will be obturator internus muscle, and having the superior gemellus above it and inferior gemellus below it, and there is quadratus femoris muscle. These muscles are called as deep muscles of the gluteal region. So the gluteus maximus, gluteus medius, gluteus minimus, these are superficial muscles, and the piriformis muscle, superior gemellus, obturator internus, inferior gemellus, and the quadratus femoris, these are the deep muscles. Now we will discuss all muscles one by one. First of all, gluteus maximus muscle. It originates from the outer surface of the ilium and the sacrum, coccyx and the sacrotuberous ligament. It is inserted over the iliotibial tract. See here, this is iliotibial tract and the gluteal tuberosity of the femur. Okay, so it has two insertions. One is iliotibial tract and one is the gluteal tuberosity of the femur. It is supplied by the inferior gluteal nerve. This is very, very important. The innervation of the gluteus maximus muscle is asked in exam. This is inferior gluteal nerve L5, S1 and S2, which is supplying the gluteus maximus muscle. Gluteus maximus muscle extends and laterally rotates the hip joint, but through the iliotibial tract it will extend the knee. Okay, it will extend the hip joint as well as it will extend the knee. There are three bursas around the gluteal muscles or the gluteus maximus muscle. See here, gluteal bursa, which is a Latin word, comes from pursis. The bursa word comes from pursis. Separate the gluteus maximus muscle from adjacent structures. What is bursa? Bursa are the membranous sacs lined by a synovial membrane containing a capillary layer of the slippery fluid resembling the egg white. Bursa are located in areas which are subjected to friction. For example, where the iliotibial tract crosses the greater trochanter. The purpose of the bursa is to reduce the friction and to permit the free movement. Usually there are three bursas which are associated with the gluteus maximus muscle. See here in this diagram, this is ischial bursa. Ischial bursa. Then there is trochanteric bursa. This is trochanteric bursa, and there is gluteofemoral bursa. These bursas are present or they are associated with the gluteus maximus muscle. Now, this is the most important point which we have to discuss, the safe area of the injection site in the gluteal region. There is dorsogluteal site where the injection is administered into the gluteus maximus muscle in the buttock. If we divide the whole gluteal region into four quadrants, which are upper lateral, upper medial, lower medial and lower lateral quadrant, then only the superior lateral quadrant or the upper outer quadrant of the gluteal region is used to provide or to administer the injection. Okay, this area is used to avoid any damage to the sciatic nerve. Okay, so this is most important point. Which area is safe? The superior lateral area or the outer lateral area is safe for the intramuscular injection in the gluteus maximus muscle. See here, this is the posterior view. So I have told you that this is a safe area for injection, which is the upper outer quadrant of the gluteal region. But if we see from the lateral view, we will put our whole hand over the lateral part of the gluteal region. The index finger will touch the anterior superior iliac spine and the middle finger will touch the iliac tubercle, and then we will spread the all other fingers and thumb. So there will be one triangular area in between the index finger and the middle finger, that is in between the anterior superior iliac spine and the tubercle of the iliac crest. This side or this triangular area is safe area for administering the intramuscular injection in the gluteus maximus muscle. Okay, there will be another area also. We can administer the intramuscular injection in the anterior lateral part of the thigh in the tensor fascia lata also. Now, there is another syndrome which is called as piriformis syndrome. A pain in the buttocks may result from the compression of the sciatic nerve by the piriformis muscle, because we should know that the piriformis muscle is present just above the sciatic nerve. So sometimes what happens, the sciatic nerve is compressed because of the hypertrophy of the piriformis muscle. So individuals which are involved in the sports that require the excessive use of the gluteal muscles, for example, the ice skaters, cyclists or the rock climbers and the women, are more likely to develop this piriformis syndrome. In approximately 50% of the cases, the histories indicate trauma to the buttocks associated with the hypertrophy and the spasm of the piriformis muscle. So remember always that the piriformis muscle is present over the sciatic nerve. So it can compress the sciatic nerve very commonly. This is called as piriformis syndrome. Now, there is one term which is called as positive Trendelenburg sign or positive Trendelenburg test. When a person who has suffered a lesion of the superior gluteal nerve, remember this nerve, superior gluteal nerve, he will be asked to stand on one leg. See here, if the person is asked to stand on one leg, this is normal condition. Okay, the iliac crest will be at the same level. But sometimes what happen, if there is lesion of the superior gluteal nerve which is supplying the gluteus medius and minimus muscle, so what will happen, a person is asked to stand on one leg, the pelvis on the unsupported side. See here, this is unsupported side, this pelvic region, it will descend down, okay, or it will descend, indicating that the gluteus medius and gluteus minimus muscle on the supported side, they are weak or non-functional. This sign is referred to be clinically as a positive Trendelenburg test. Other causes of this sign include the fracture of the greater trochanter of the femur and dislocation of the hip joint. See in this diagram, the supported side will have the paralyzed or non-functional gluteus medius and minimus muscle because the lesion of the superior gluteal nerve is present on this side, but the pelvic region of the opposite side or the unsupported side will descend. Remember this thing. This is called as positive Trendelenburg test. Now we will discuss the other muscles. Gluteus medius muscle. It will originate from the outer surface of the ilium. Okay, it is inserted over the lateral surface of the greater trochanter of the femur. Okay, you should remember the three gluteal lines which were present on the ilium bones and the origin of the gluteus maximus, gluteus medius and gluteus minimus muscle in between those lines. Okay, so gluteus medius muscle, it is innervated by the superior gluteal nerve L5 and S1. It abducts the thigh at the hip joint. It tilts the pelvis when walking to permit the opposite leg to clear the ground. Now the gluteus minimus muscle, okay, it is the third gluteal superficial muscle. See here, it is originated from the outer surface of the ilium. It is inserted over the anterior surface of the greater trochanter of the femur. It is innervated by the superior gluteal nerve, just like the gluteus medius muscle, by the L5 and S1. Along with the gluteus medius muscle, it will abduct the thigh at the hip joint and tilt the pelvis when walking to permit the opposite leg to clear the ground. Now, fourth muscle, tensor fascia lata. Okay, see here, this is tensor fascia lata muscle. Okay, it is originated from the iliac crest. Remember this thing, it is originated from the iliac crest. It is inserted over the iliotibial tract. Do you remember iliotibial tract? Okay, it is inserted along with the gluteus maximus muscle. The tensor fascia lata is inserted over the iliotibial tract. Okay, it is also innervated by the superior gluteal nerve L4 and L5. It assists the gluteus maximus muscle in extending the knee joint. Now the piriformis muscle, see here, piriformis muscle. It is pear-shaped muscle. Piri means pear-shaped, okay. It is originated from the anterior surface of the sacrum. Can you see here? It is originating from the anterior surface of the sacrum and it is inserted over the upper border of the greater trochanter of the femur. It is innervated by the first and the second sacral nerves L5, S1 and S2. See here in this diagram, the sciatic nerve is present just below the piriformis muscle. This is section taken from this diagram. See here the piriformis muscle and just below the piriformis there is sciatic nerve, which is the longest nerve and the biggest nerve of our body. The piriformis muscle is the lateral rotator of the thigh at the hip joint because it is only crossing the hip joint, so it will act on the hip joint only. The piriformis lies partly within the pelvis at its origin. It emerges through the greater sciatic foramen to enter the gluteal region. We know this thing that the piriformis muscle is crossing the greater sciatic foramen and entering the gluteal region. Its position serves to separate the superior gluteal and vessels and nerves from the inferior gluteal vessels and nerve. That is what you have to remember. There are two borders of the piriformis muscle. This is the upper border of the piriformis and this is the lower border of the piriformis muscle. Superior gluteal nerve and vessels will be present above the upper border of the piriformis muscle, and inferior gluteal nerve and vessels will be present below the inferior border of the piriformis muscle. So these two nerves and vessels, the superior gluteal nerve and the inferior gluteal nerve, will be separated by this piriformis muscle. Now another muscle, which is obturator internus muscle. It is originated from the inner surface of the obturator membrane, which is present in the obturator foramen. It is inserted over the upper border of the greater trochanter of the femur. It is innervated by the sacral plexus L5 and S1. Lateral rotator of thigh at the hip joint, because it is only crossing the hip joint, so it will act on the hip joint only. The obturator internus muscle is a fan-shaped muscle that lies within the pelvis at its origin. Its tendon emerges through the lesser sciatic foramen to enter the gluteal region. The tendon is joined by the superior and inferior gemellus muscle. Do you remember I have told you that these three muscles, they will form the triceps coxae. The tendon is joined by the superior and inferior gemelli and they are inserted in the greater trochanter of the femur. Now another muscle, which are gemelli muscle. Gemelli word comes from gemenius, which means small twin. There are two gemelli, gemellus superior and gemellus inferior. First of all, gemellus superior muscle. See here, it is originated from the spine of the ischium, okay, and it is inserted over the upper border of the greater trochanter of the femur. It is innervated by the sacral plexus. Its action, it is the lateral rotator of the thigh at the hip joint. Then the gemellus inferior muscle, see here, this is gemellus inferior. It is originated from the ischial tuberosity. It is also inserted over the upper border of the greater trochanter of the femur. It is innervated by the sacral plexus and it is also the lateral rotator of the thigh at the hip joint. Now the quadratus femoris muscle. See here, this is a quadrilateral shaped muscle which is called as quadratus femoris muscle. It is originated from the lateral border of the ischial tuberosity. It is inserted over the quadrate tubercle on the femur. Quadrate tubercle of femur. It is innervated by the sacral plexus. It is also the lateral rotator of the thigh at the hip joints. So all these four muscles are the lateral rotators of the thigh at the hip joint, which are superior gemellus, obturator internus, inferior gemellus and quadratus femoris muscle along with the piriformis muscle. See here, this is a chart which I have pasted here. These are all muscles. First of all, three superficial muscles, which are gluteus maximus, gluteus medius, gluteus minimus muscle, which are originated from the outer surface of the ilium in between the gluteal lines, and they are inserted over the greater trochanter of the femur and the gluteal tuberosity of the femur. Only the gluteus maximus muscle is innervated by the inferior gluteal nerve. Otherwise, the gluteus medius and gluteus minimus, they are innervated by the superior gluteal nerve along with the tensor fasciae lata, which is also supplied by the superior gluteal nerve. Piriformis, it is supplied by first and second sacral nerves. Then all four muscles, which are obturator internus muscle, gemellus superior, gemellus inferior and quadratus femoris muscle, they are innervated by the sacral plexus. They are inserted over the greater trochanter of the femur and they are all lateral rotators of thigh at the hip joint. So you can be asked in exam that write the names of the lateral rotator of thigh at the hip joint. These are five muscles: piriformis muscle, obturator internus, gemellus superior, gemellus inferior and quadratus femoris muscle. Now these are the arteries of the gluteal region. Superior gluteal artery, see here, this is superior gluteal artery, and there will be inferior gluteal artery. Superior gluteal artery will be at the upper border of the piriformis muscle, and inferior gluteal artery will be at the lower border of the piriformis muscle. Superior gluteal artery is a branch of internal iliac artery. It enters the gluteal region through the upper part of the greater sciatic foramen above the piriformis. Inferior gluteal artery is also a branch of the internal iliac artery, and it enters the gluteal region through the lower part of the greater sciatic foramen below the piriformis muscle. Now the nerves of the gluteal region. There are many nerves of the gluteal region which are sciatic nerve. See here, this is sciatic nerve. Then there will be posterior cutaneous nerve of the thigh. Okay. Then superior gluteal nerve, see here, this is superior gluteal nerve at the upper border of the piriformis muscle. Then there will be inferior gluteal nerve which is below the piriformis muscle. Then there will be nerve to the quadratus femoris. See here, this is quadratus femoris muscle. A nerve which will be supplying to the quadratus femoris is the nerve to the quadratus femoris. Then there is pudendal nerve and nerve to the obturator internal